Everybody's man, listen. I think Little Baby for me has been the most heavy rotation this year. The most heavy rotation, man. Shout out to Little Baby, man. The man just keeps on putting out ridiculous music. He has such a ridiculous catalog just that fast. So maybe he's been putting in work way longer than I know of, and I'm just catching up. If so, pardon, give me a late pass. I think I've been on him for what, the last 2 years? About 2 years, 2.5 years. But anyway, what up, y'all? It's your boy ARP. Rare Bit Entertainment is the movement, as always. Here we are, episode 4 for Sorry It's True. Initially, I wasn't even going to number my episodes. I just wanted the ability to drop, put up my content, put up my little blogs, put up my little topics that I want to talk about. But I think numbering my episodes is going to keep me motivated. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about the podcast space, the thing about the content world is it looks easy, but it's not. It's not. To get up here and rock out with y'all, you know what I'm saying, every week. Some people do it every day. Go over these topics, you know what I'm saying, break things down, keep things fun and interesting for y'all. I see some of y'all tweeting me, yo, what's up, man? We got used to the morning drops. That's how I start my morning. Where you at, AR? That consistency isn't easy. You turn around and some of these people that have been doing it for years, 1 year, 5 years, whatever, like the Joe Budden podcast, and you got Drink Champs going crazy, and you got people that blog and do podcasts too, and they stepping up and stepping out and doing all crazy things. The Vlads of the worlds and the DJ Academics of the worlds, man. These guys are putting in a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? And I really, really want to motivate myself by numbering my shit. So being here with episode number 4, yeah, I can't wait till I get to episode 400. But how was y'all week out there? I mean, what did y'all get into? I'm going to try to always start my episodes, just lighthearted, catching up with everybody. I'm not recording every day. I don't have that ability, you know what I'm saying? But, I'll just give y'all some little backdrop how the week went for me. Nothing too crazy. I'm a very busy person. I'll continue to say that on camera. It's kind of like my little exit back door as an excuse if I miss a week. You know what I'm saying? But we do have a lot of topics to go over today. We got a lot of topics to go over today. We're going to talk about the Dahmer Netflix series. We're going to talk about Ime Udoka, the coach that's under heavy controversy right now, being suspended for 1 year, the coach, the lead head coach of the Boston Celtics. We're going to talk about some battle rap stuff. I got a reaction to a recent Lil Boosie video that I seen. We're going to talk about some other stuff that's been happening during the week. We got a lot of stuff to go over. But yeah, man, I hope the week went well for everybody. I was temporarily, forced to record in a different spot. That's why y'all seen some of the last blogs or like little pieces that I put up that had the green screen behind me. But I'm back now. This is the location that I really, really set up for my podcast. So I'm back here now. But some of that content that I recorded while I still had the green screen behind me when I had to, jump over there for a second, I got more of that to release. I'm going to get that out for y'all. I got some remaining pieces to drop with an interview I did with Doggy Diamond. Shout out to the homie Doggy Diamonds. I got some more pieces to put up from an interview I did with 40 Cal. Shout out to my homie 40 Cal. And Doggy Diamonds has an interview that same day we recorded, probably like almost 2 weeks ago at this point. I jumped on his channel as well. So keep an eye on his channel. You know what I'm saying? Doggy Diamonds TV. He's got like 5 channels. So for all I know, it might be dropping on a different channel. But, shout out, follow Doggy Diamonds, subscribe to Doggy Diamonds. He's got an interview with me. He asked me a bunch of stuff that I think people, especially in the battle rap culture, want to hear me speak about. It got me talking about lawsuits and politics and certain battlers that I may have, had small fallouts with, et cetera, et cetera. The stuff that I've never been too uncomfortable to answer. Y'all know me, you know what I'm saying? But I never script my interviews. I never have, and I never will. When people they hit me up to interview me and they ask me, yo, AR, is there anything you don't want to talk or don't want to come up? I tell people I don't script interviews. I don't script questions. That's just on me. If I feel like speaking on it, I'm going to speak about it. If I want to be professional, overly professional about it, I will. if I feel like I'm in the clear to release some details about whatever the given topic is, or even if I need some get back, I'm human. You know what I'm saying? Even if I feel like, nah, there's some shit I need to address, you know, I'm gonna speak my piece. You know, that's always been me. So shout out to everybody that supported me and knows how I give it up over here. But yeah, let's start jumping into these topics. I think the first one that we just have to get into is this Dahmer series. We have to get into this fucking Dahmer series. Like, yo, and what's so crazy is a lot of us know about this. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of younger people out there in the world that are watching this Netflix series and they never heard of Jeffrey Dahmer. They never really knew about it, you know. But for me, you know, I was around. I was definitely old enough to be in tune. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I'm older now. And you know, my brain capacity and my wisdom and my life experiences have grown so much since when I was a child or when I was a teenager, whenever it was when this was happening. You know, so I understand more, and it makes me even want to analyze it more and want to try to really look into it a little bit more and say, like, yo, how do people turn out like this? And we're going to get into some of that. But I felt the same way when I watched the OJ series, you know, with Cuba Gooding Jr. It was like I was young enough to understand what was going on. I felt even that racial tension, you know, outside the atmosphere had this like us versus y'all type of, it was a bugged out time during that OJ trial. You know what I'm saying? But fast forward, when I watched the series and I can understand a little bit more, you know, you see a bunch of different things with different perspectives. And that's what's happening to me with this Dahmer shit. It's like I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, I knew that he was eating people. I knew there was this crazy guy, this serial killer. You know, we watched like the Martin stand up. What was that? You So Crazy? You know, he had a whole joke about that, you know what I'm saying? About Dahmer luring people up to his crib and was just eating people. You know what I'm saying? Like he made light of it. You know what I mean? So I guess at that age when this was all unfolding, that's really all that stuck in my mind. There's crazy serial killer guy that's bringing people up to his crib and eating them. But Netflix is just turning this shit into like this whole breakdown of his childhood and, you know, some of the elements that may have made him how he is. And that's a topic within itself. Do y'all believe that somebody like Jeffrey Dahmer is born like that? Do you believe that he's developed into that from his life circumstances and the things that he's experienced? Do you think it's a combination of both? I'm on episode 6. So I just finished episode 6. So I'm more than halfway through. And I'm picking up on like the little details that they're dropping to almost suggest that he may have been created like that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I'm not giving no passes. There's no passes to being like that. And even if I take a step backwards, right? One of the common words that you would call it Jeffrey Dahmer is crazy. That's one of the automatic words that come to mind. Crazy. Like, dude is crazy. All right. The shit that he's doing, he's crazy. You ever see that breakdown about the behind the scenes of Hollywood by Dave Chappelle? He's, you know, kind of talking about how weird it was and not wanting to wear a dress when certain, you know, studios and filmmakers were asked, you know, so adamant about him wearing a dress. Or I spoke about this before on the channel. You know what I'm saying? But he gave a good kind of synopsis of the word crazy. He was like, calling somebody crazy is not a good thing to call people because it's dismissive. Now, what he's trying to imply there is saying that we tend to call people crazy when we don't understand them. You don't understand something, you don't about somebody, call them crazy. And for me, I think that might be one of the reasons why I'm kind of overanalyzing this Netflix series. You know, because it makes you want to understand people a little bit more. Because if you ever encounter these type of people, if you see these type of signs of I guess weirdness, right? And even that you can kind of put in maybe the same category as the word crazy, like maybe it's dismissive, but there's still signs. Like I'm damn near educating myself watching this shit. Like how does somebody become like that? And they're putting shit in there. You know, they put in there, of course, the scenes of his family fighting, you know, his moms and his pops, you know, separating, all that type of stuff. And, you know, mom's peels off with the younger child and basically abandons him and the father and all that. You know, he goes to, what is that, like custody court and everything like that. we can't put that nowhere near a piece of determining how you become Jeffrey Dahmer, because how many of us have been through these type of situations where, you know, the household is broken, or daddy's not there, or mommy's not there, or maybe neither one of your parents is there. Maybe you grew up on your own, and you know what I'm saying, in a foster home or something like that. But they put that in there. They put that in there. That's one thing that they put in there. One thing that's heavily suggested that they put in there as well, or suggestive that they put in there as well, is his attraction to men and his sexuality. That's one thing that I didn't know from when this was going down and it was actually happening versus me watching it on Netflix. I didn't know that Jeffrey Dahmer was gay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was attracted to men back then. But one thing's clear here. They're definitely trying to put his attraction to men as one of the ingredients as to why he is, or how he became how he is. But even that, to a degree, it's a little bit of a stretch. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, this is America. We've been here long enough. You know what I mean? And we have been through these periods where we see different lifestyles and different cultures, even different religions, treated as minority, right? And that leads me to another point, you know, and I don't want to jump around too much because I want to stay focused on these ingredients that they're kind of trying to depict. But even if I jump off for a second, the times that this was all based in, that kind of adds to it a little bit, because if we stay on the part about his sexuality, right, and him being gay, that even shows how people are reacting as far as some of the police negligence, right? Now, some of the shit that they put in there is just like, yo, this cop is dumb, or these cops is dumb, or they're not reacting enough. Like the neighbors are being smarter than the fucking cops. You know what I'm saying? But think about, you know, the one where, or the piece where, you know, he's got the cops coming up to the crib and he's like, he lets them come in. Like, he's bold, you know what I'm saying? Or either that, or he's just so calm. It's just like, yeah, come on in. You know, I'm still gonna get away with this or whatever. But the cops kind of got this reaction almost as like they're grossed out. You know what I'm saying? All due respect. That's what they're showing. That's the picture that they're painting for those times. As if, once again, back then, you know, it wasn't really as open or treated as like a minority. That's the point that I'm making here. You know, as if it's like strange they treating you to be gay back then, right? And you see that even in the call, right? When they played the real life call that really happened of the neighbor that called into the police, like, yo, you sure it's not an underage boy? But you hear what the police officer is saying on the phone. He's almost like hesitant to go close to it. It's like, nah, listen, we don't get involved in that or whatever. They wouldn't act like that today. They definitely wouldn't act like that today. But back then, they're kind of showing that. They're showing that the times of how people reacted, or how people really thought you was almost like an alien to have a different sexual preference back then. You know what I'm saying? So they put that element in there. There was another one, though, that they put in there. And I don't remember the term, but, you know, he was sitting down with like a psychologist or something like that. And he called it something of like, when you're attracted to like the shininess of your internal organs. I never even heard of it before, but he says something like, the psychiatrist says something like that to him. And they showed that was relevant because, you know, we all mature here. I'm gonna talk to y'all mature because that's how I am. So sometimes I try to mask my words a little bit because I know there's children and, you know, little immature, like little clowns that watch on the internet. There's still the internet, but I want to still be mature as possible. You know, there's a scene where Dahmer is, you know, he's getting himself off, right? Or he's trying to, and he's looking at, you know, a magazine with women in it, and it's not working. Then he starts having thoughts of, you know, his hand holding an organ from when he was dissecting shit. And we'll get into that in a second too. And that was then the time where he started to get off. You know what I'm saying? So that's a condition. That's another element that they're throwing in there, another ingredient into how does this person become like this? You know what I'm saying? Now, speaking of, you know, the dissections and whatever, I could see that being a valid element. And they showed that early on in the series. It may have been the first or the second episode. So when he was a kid, he still lived with his moms and his pops at the time. His mom smells something, foul in the crib. Turns out there was like a dead possum underneath the patio or something like that. So him and his father, use like a rake, pull out the dead possum or whatever. And his father tells him, like, look, there's a hole in his head. Like, they must have got, attacked by a coyote, survived the attack, but then crawled underneath the patio and died. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of intrigued Jeffrey Dahmer at that point and explaining that to him. Then he takes the dead possum into the garage with him and they dissect it. And then after that, Pops and the son, Jeffrey Dahmer, when they're on the road, they be pulling over for roadkill, and they be tossing the roadkill in the trunk, taking it home and dissecting the roadkill. So they kind of show that as an ingredient, and I can see that in a weird way maybe being valid, because you're kind of turning this kid on into the internals and the organs, and you know what I'm saying? And remember, he's cannibalizing people. He wants to see people's insides at times, and he's holding on to some of these possessions and shit like that. As he's treating them as possessions, like the Predator did, like the movie Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's keeping some of this shit around the house, like trophies, like the bones that he used on the board game. So it's just like his pops maybe accidentally played a small role in him being turned on to that shit. And then fast forward when he's in school and they had the class for, dissecting, what was like a little small pig or something like that. He asked the teacher to take one home. The teacher's like, man, 20 years of doing this, nobody ever asked me that. But hell, you want to take it home? Go ahead, take it home. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Be my guest. You know what I'm saying? What you want, an A+, I guess? Hey, you know what I'm saying? So that was definitely weird. And he's obviously being turned on by stuff like that. And there's another big element that they're showing too. He has a problem with separation. You catch that? I'm telling y'all, like, I'm paying attention to some of these points because y'all think I'm bullshit when I say I'm educating myself, because I want to see the warning signs in people like that. You got to understand the world, because we all live here. There's people here, obviously, like this. You better understand the world. Understand the world. But he has a problem with separation. The thing with the mannequin, you know what I'm saying? And when people leave and walk away, he has a problem. He gets aggressive. He's normally one of the calmest people in the world, but he gets aggressive. Like, where you going? Like, when are you coming back? Just like, the guy he was dating that's deaf. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was starting to freak out when dude was leaving. Dude was like, yeah, I'll be back next week. He was freaking out. He's like, he was gonna, off him right there, because he just didn't want him to leave. And maybe that also plays into him keeping things, keeping body parts, and also wanting to cannibalize these body parts, because maybe he thinks that makes him a part of them, or makes them a part of him. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and we've seen stuff like that in certain movies where, damn, what movies was it where they feel like they eat something and it becomes a part of them? But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So he has a clear issue with separation, and his father picked up on a lot of the signs. His father seen how weird he was. Like, there's times where his father is just like, I don't know what to do with this kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he was getting out of the what was it? He was locked up, or he was in some detention center or whatever. And he asked him, he's just like, man, so did you speak to anybody when you was in there? Maybe a psychiatrist or somebody, And Jeffrey's like, nah, I just stayed to myself. His pops is like, fuck, this nigga ain't gonna change. Sent him to the army. Nah, that didn't do it. That didn't help. That wasn't gonna do nothing. When him and his new girlfriend, the father's new girlfriend, went to Jeffrey's crib, his apartment, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh, you got a fish tank. And Jeffrey's like, yo, sometimes I just sit here for hours and watch them swim. His pops is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, his pops knew that he had a weird son. And they show a lot of that. Like, again, as much as you can say maybe some of those characteristics he was born with, I guess you got to just continue to study the human mind and human body or whatever to learn stuff like that and figure out whether that's possible or not. But they definitely show that there's elements that made him become what he is. And yo, this episode 6, where they almost bring in almost like a co-star almost, because they really give him a big focus. The guy that he was dating that was deaf. And let me say this too about the show. It's done extremely well. It's done very well. The acting is all great. We watch some shows and just be like, damn, this acting is shit. Like they're nailing it. These characters are nailing it. They really put this one together, and maybe that's another reason why it's hitting the way it's hitting. Yeah, a lot of people talking about this series right now. There's some scenes in here that's gonna bother y'all. Like even in the very first episode, because they came out guns blazing. There was parts in the first episode that was getting to me like, oh, whoa. You know what I'm saying? They go in there. They are going there. But, from a creation of trying to portray this for what it was an extreme situation. They're completing that objective. They're delivering it, and it's feeling extreme. You know what I'm saying? But back to like the deaf guy, even the way they built his character up, the deaf guy, they really made us connect to him. They made us respect him as a character. Like he was looking for the right things in life. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to be some fast guy, just all out there wilding out, being crazy. He was, trying to get himself on the right track. What didn't come off like a bad guy at all. Family man, respected his family. His sister, was pregnant, said, I want to name my baby after you and everything. Like they're showing these pieces to put him in that type of light, and to a degree, he temporarily changes Dahmer, I guess. Maybe that's the wrong words to put it, but they're through this deaf guy, they're almost trying to show a compassionate side to Dahmer. They almost get away with that. They almost make you feel like, damn, like maybe they're clicking because they both have differences in the world, because they clearly show what it's like to be deaf in this world. Like the scene where the deaf guy and his two deaf friends are sitting down at that restaurant table, and all the audio is just mute, and they're having a conversation using sign language. It's such a dope scene. That's a dope scene, son. You know what I'm saying? But they're showing what it's like going through this world and society, being deaf, and how much challenges it creates, whether it's getting a job, whether it's dating. So him trying to date guys, and some of these guys, they buy him a drink, they find out he's deaf, and they like, yo, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy your drink. So building up that character and showing him in that type of perspective. And then here goes this weird guy, Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like Jeffrey Dahmer damn near sees a different side of people that he would normally just want to murder day one, or eat day one, or keep their bodies day one. This guy kind of changes him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Makes him clean up his house, makes him stop drinking a lot for a second. And that's another ingredient that they actually put in there. He's a heavy drinker. Speaking of the ingredients of how he may have became how he's become. So if we break down what they're showing, his mother and father, you know what I'm saying, going through shit. His father turning him out, possibly with dissecting animals and how they were collecting roadkill and all that type of stuff. His heavy drinking, his attraction to men, and how that may have tied. I think his attraction to men, they're trying to tie into two other pieces, which is the cannibalism and him having an issue with separation. Of I just want to keep, I want to hold, I want this to stay with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just weird, and then like that last piece that the psychiatrist told him, whatever that phrase is for somebody that might possibly be intrigued or turned on to shiny organs or to shiny things. Like it's just so I don't know what else is coming in this last 4 episodes, because the way that they do it chronologically is, that first episode is when he gets caught. So they do it real well, shifting some of the time periods of going to when he's a kid and showing how we got to this spot. And sometimes they show you one thing and they jump over here and then they come back to something that they showed you earlier where it's like, okay, that's the tie-in from earlier. You know what I'm saying? They're doing a great job with this. But it's sick, man. It's just real sick. That's just another thing. I could keep going about this show. That's another thing that I didn't know when it was unfolded. I didn't know that this was just happening in like this like little small apartment with all these neighbors just like right next to you, to the point where his neighbors is hearing shit through the walls and through the vents. Their neighbors is trying to tell on them at times, like, yo, there's something going on with my neighbor, and the cops is kind of egging them. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. Like, I guess the visuals that I had back in the day when this was really happening was that it was some wild guy that probably lived in the woods or something with some crib where nobody's around, nobody could hear him or nothing like that, and he's just getting away, driving people up through this long dirt road into his crib, and he's stashing bodies. This shit was happening in a fucking apartment building. When he got caught, they had to evacuate the whole fucking building as like a safety thing, like because of the smells and the toxins or what. They had people coming in with them fucking like them suits, them type suits, like when things is like toxic, some fucking Area 51 type shit. Like, it was wild, man. This motherfucker had a bat of acid in his living room. Yo, this show is crazy, but it's a big piece of, can I call it American history? Because to me, there's just these big occurrences where the whole world knows about it. If not the whole world, at least the whole country, right? Like the OJ trial. It's like a piece of history. 9/11, obvious. You know what I'm saying? The DC sniper, Jeffrey Dahmer. People, have unwrapped and depicted and done shows and series of movies on the mafia for how many, because it's a piece of like history, you know what I'm saying, like of when the mafia was a stronghold. It's like this Jeffrey Dahmer shit really is a big story, and if you would have said his name to me without this series coming up, I would have told you exactly who he is. Yeah, some crazy serial killer that was eating people, minus all the details that I'm able to see now. But fast forward, I don't know whether this happened 20, 30, I don't know how many years ago. Like, yeah, I knew about it and I ain't forget it. But watching this right now, this is crazy, man. I would suggest everybody watch it. You gotta have a solid stomach at times. There's some scenes that's just like, fuck it, spoiler alert, man. There's a scene where he drinks some blood. Like, it's just it's like one of the nastiest things. Like, like dude is, it's a sick guy, man. He's sick as shit. What are we jumping into next? Udoka. Ime, am I pronouncing his first name? Ime Udoka. So I want to spin this off into three pieces. I want to talk about office, or inner office relations, office sex, however you want to put it. I want to talk about Nia Long for a hot second, and the whole dust up of like, yo, you got Nia Long and you do it out. I want to talk about that for a second, and I just want to talk about the situation as we hear about it in general. So, we got Udoka, the head coach of the Boston Celtics. Last year, they went to the finals and represented the East. They won the East. There was times of the playoffs where he was just being revered as, arguably the best coach in the league last year. They said that he was just coaching circles around, the opposing team's coaches and coaching staff. And it looked like he was doing a great job, you know what I'm saying? Because I think you overlook all of the pieces around a successful team and just focus on the players. Like, there's so many people involved in the success of a basketball organization. I didn't even want to just say team. I want to say organization, from the owner to the GM to the staff, like even your training staff, your medical staff. Like, an example of the way you coach, when you think about Popovich, they say he had a style of coming down on his star, Tim Duncan. So immediately everybody else is like, shit, if he's getting at Tim Duncan, like, you know what I mean? Like I gotta, when niggas tell me what to do, I'm gonna fall in line quick because he's coming at the star. He's coming at the bread and the butter, the money maker. You know what I'm saying? The person that's carrying us or helping carrying us to championships. So your style of coaching, all of this stuff comes into play of being successful. And that's why this guy got a heavily increased reputation from last year, heavily increased reputation for what he was doing as a head coach to help the Boston Celtics win the East and get to the finals. So that's what makes this news that comes out about him so big. Here we are about to kick off the new NBA season, right? And it comes out of left field. Udoka is suspended for 1 year. I was like, what? So it's like, just like little sprinkles of news that has come out so far from what I've seen, for what has come across me so far. Inner office sexual relations, or maybe has sex with somebody that's a part of the organization, part of the staff, or, you know, within the Celtics team somehow. It could be a cheerleader, could be some type of medical staff, whatever. Like we just talked about how it's not just the players on the court. Like a team has all these different pieces and all these different job functions. So somebody affiliated with the Celtics is what we're hearing, right? So before I get into Matt Barnes's recent Vlad interview, before I get into that, my initial reaction was just about inner office sex and corporate America, right? Because I classify the NBA as corporate America because all of the legalities surrounding it, the amount of money surrounding it, the amount of rules and contracts that are surrounding it. These multi-million-dollar NBA players are on the contracts, and they have all types of rules and stipulations that they must follow as NBA players on and off the court. This is corporate America. All right. If you don't believe so, go ahead and mess with their bottom line and see how corporate it is. It's corporate America. All right. Now, in corporate America, inner office sex is extremely common. Extremely common. If you've never worked in corporate America, let me just give you like some real rational examples and reasons why inner office sex is very common. All right. First of all, developing attractions towards somebody, right? Sometimes come with interactions. I mean, we're also visual creatures, right? So you think of somebody like this host here. Sooner or later, you work with her, you may have a visual attraction to her, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, especially as a man. Like, she's beautiful. But even past us being visual creatures at times and seeing somebody so frequently and possibly being attracted to what you see, you know, how about just the fact that you get to interact and build with somebody for so much time? Just think about it. We call a general corporate America job a 9 to 5. That's what we call it, right? That's 8 hours of a day. Let's say you drive to the office or you commute to the office, bus, train, whatever the case may be. Let's say an hour to the office and an hour home, right? Plus 8 hour day, 9 to 5. That's 10 hours. Let's say you sleep 8 hours of the day. That's 18 right there. You're left with 6. That's like an average common 9 to 5 work-life balance. 10 hours of work or going to work in total. And then 8 hours of sleep, 6 to 8 hours of sleep, let's say. So if you get your 8 hours and you got 6 hours left in the day, that means that you're seeing whoever you live with. It could be your wife, your husband, your kids, or even if it's just, you know, you see them on the weekend and it's even less time, right? Or see them occasionally, it's even less time. But even if you live with somebody, you might see somebody at work more than you see somebody that you live with. That's just how, that's math. That's just 24 hours in a day. Okay. So there's a lot of people that's watching this right now that can relate. There's a lot of companies that even do office relations training, right? They'll send you type of a literature that you have to read through and sign off on, or videos that you have to play. You know what I'm saying? As you're onboarding into a new company, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to abide by certain rules, and they try to train you up on certain ways to approach things, on how to act, you know, if you end up in a sexual relationship in the office or within the company. So they try to train you on how to still be professional, how not to let it affect the company, how not to let it affect you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but what I'm hearing is that it's not allowed within the Celtics organization. And if so, I guess they have that right. You want to be a part of their organization and you sign their contracts or you work for them, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, whether you're the masseuse, whether you're the fucking the GM, whether you're the person that runs all the whatever, right? You sign up for it like you sign up for certain type of rules. So if that's the rules within the Celtics organization, then off rip, you can be fucked, right? So let's get into what it means now to be a power figure, right? Because we're hearing that could possibly be involved here. When you're a power figure, they train you on that shit too. For example, if you're the manager and you're trying to date like somebody that's reporting to you, some companies have an issue with that. They be like, yo, two peers could date. You know what I'm saying? Two peers can get together. But the manager, no, you're not allowed to date the people that report to you for obvious reasons, right? It can create all types of favoritism. You know, other employees can see that as a conflict or issue, or not feel comfortable within that situation. Like, y'all feel like, you know, the person that he or she is sleeping with is getting all the good projects or getting or being able to leave work early. And you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why they'll draw that line. I mean, and Udoka obviously fits that. He's a head coach. That means that he's a powerful person within that organization. Was that an issue in this situation? Possibly. But when I watched Matt Barnes' Vlad interview, and he at first had a segment, I think, where he was backing Udoka, probably for the reasons of like, yo, man, like the man, you know, had a sexual relationship. Like, don't hang him for it. Don't take his job, or don't suspend him for a year for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it happens. Matt Barnes like, shit, I done slept with a couple cheerleaders or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's part of the game. We're around each other. Like I said before, 10 hours a day, possibly commuting to or being at work. Like, you might be attracted to somebody. But after that, if you notice, Matt Barnes retracted his support of Udoka. Then he does a Vlad TV interview and he says he thinks he'll be lucky if he even has a job after all of this, let alone suspended for a year. That makes you scratch your head a little bit like, the fuck did he do? I only think that it's one of two things, right? It could be something that's pure violation. Like you violated a woman somehow, maybe some type of maybe you used your power and the woman claimed to feel forced or some type of entrapment or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe a woman feels like her job is at stake if she didn't deal with you or sleep with you. That within itself is a big claim. A woman goes to the upper organization or upper management or the owner about that. You better react. They got to move on that. They can't play with something like that. So that could be one of the things that happen. Is it a violation? Now, God forbid you took something. I think if you would have took something, we would have been hearing about charges. Right. And I didn't hear nothing about no charges. So I don't think that he took something. I think it could have been, if it's that option in option A realm, maybe you entrapped or made somebody feel forced because you are who you are. The only other option, though, option B, that I can foresee happening, which is something that would make Matt Barnes come out and be like, yo, he'll be lucky if he has a job after this, is if he just slept with the wrong person. Who could be the wrong person? The wrong person could be like a player's girlfriend or a player's wife, a owner or a GM's wife or girlfriend, or somebody in their family, a sister or something like that. And here's the thing, because we're hearing that once again, the Celtics don't allow, you know, the inner office sex. But even if they did, if I'm a part of that organization and I know that you have a fiance or a wife, yet you sleeping with my sister, I got an inner office problem. I'm uncomfortable with that. The coach is sleeping with my sister and I know he's with Nia Long or something like that. You know, this is corporate America once again. This isn't like, oh man, stop bitching, you know what I'm saying? Let shorty choose or whatever. Niggas cheat every day, B, or whatever. Or maybe he had a side chick. This ain't that. This is corporate America with big name people tied to a lot of money involved. And it's not going to fly. It's not going to fly. So that's why I say either he was in a situation where maybe somebody felt forced or violated, or he slept with the wrong person. because that Matt Barnes interview is a little bit telling. He's like, man, listen, I ain't trying to speak on nobody. I didn't have my issues, family and whatnot, running and gunning, but he may not have a job after this. Him saying that, that's telling his shit. That's telling his shit. But let's get to this Nia Long reaction. And I could laugh about it because it happens all the time. You know, we hear about this a celebrity that possibly becomes single, and everybody puts up those type of posts of niggas running out the door real quick or shooting a shot and trying to slide in the DM real quick because Nia Long might be. And I don't know. I don't really get it. I never really got it. And that type of, you know, reaction, especially on social media. You know, the reason why I don't get it is because for me, it's like I just have this mind state and this perception like it don't matter who you are. Nobody's above getting cheated on. I don't know if some of that is like idol worship, where people get so hung up in celebrity, because Beyonce is a bad woman, as a beautiful, intelligent, talented, classy woman. But there's women in the world that's better than Beyonce. That's just what it is. Who's your woman? You like Rihanna? There's women in the world that are finer than Rihanna. There's how many people on God's green earth? Like, come on. Like, don't idol worship somebody so much where it's just like, oh no, that's not reality. Speaking of Beyonce, like allegedly, didn't she possibly get cheated on? Right? Or I don't know. Was it just you know, a promotional thing or whatever? Was it Lemonade or whatever? Wasn't she coming out with songs damn near acting like she was going through something with Jay, like Jay cheated or something like that? Let me ask y'all this. So how long have they been together? Is it over 15 years, whatever? Think Jay never fucked nobody else? Ever? Let me tell you, these celebrities, man, they be having these sign-offs to deal with them and all types of shit. That was portrayed on a Chappelle Show series or episode. Remember? It was like a contract, you know, that Shorty had to sign before he dealt with her. You don't think that's real? Art imitates life. You don't think that's real? You don't think you got some of these celebrities that they be on tour and they grab some of these little groupies or whatever. They have their security guards or their managers or their handlers take these girls' phones before they even could come into their room, because they can't have that type of shit get out into the public. I can't have it get out into the public that I didn't fuck with you and you just some little groupie. You know what I'm saying? Or I might have a big situation that's public. I might be ASAP Rocky and Rihanna's my woman. Like, you're not coming in this room with a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might be Jay-Z and my wife is Beyonce. That's a power couple. You know what I'm saying? We're tied in, not just as family with a child, and we have a huge tie-in even for our success, for our business, like even our image. The image of Will and Jada for a time was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes that matters. The Barack and the Michelle, the tie-in of these two people. And when you're in front of the public, it matters a lot. You have to uphold that. You know what I'm saying? You can't have these people talking about some sex or some cheating or some side nigga or some side chick scandal. So these people go to hell and back to make sure that they dirt don't get out. The smart ones in these big positions, or else they could literally lose millions and millions and millions of dollars simply by their fucking business going public that they was with some side chick last night. All right. So cut it out, people. But stop idol worshiping. All right. It's Nia Long. Nia Long is once again, I can give it the same description as a beautiful, intelligent, classy woman. But it's just another woman in certain men's eyes when it's time to have a fucking little jump. That's the real world. Like Jennifer Lopez, like there was a time we looked at her like, oh, one of the baddest women on the earth, right? How many times has she been married? I ain't shooting no shot at her or nothing like that, but can she keep a nigga? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? How many times has she been married? I mean, come on. She definitely is bad as shit, but niggas is going to step out. Women is going to step out. It don't matter whether you rich. It don't matter whether you the baddest nigga in the room, the baddest woman in the room, or you're a celebrity, or you're Beyonce, or you're Rihanna, or you're Nia Long. It don't matter. Stop everybody bugging out and try to be like, yo, you're automatically just this super insane person because you may have cheated on Nia Long. Nia Long could get cheated on just like any other woman. That's my whole point. And if y'all think that she can't get cheated on because she's Nia Long, stop that. You're over idol worshiping. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing about that. But yeah, man, I hope nothing crazy comes out about dude like a violation, like if he took something or if he forced somebody or if he made somebody feel entrapped because of his position in an organization. Hopefully it wasn't that. And if he just slept with the wrong person that had the wrong ties and somebody feels real offended by it, damn, it's just sad to see, possibly putting something like that type of job in jeopardy over what may have been nothing. What did Martin's mother say in Thin Line? What she say? Like a night full of passion could turn into a lifelong time of pain or something like that. Oh man, I ain't perfect. I ain't gonna act like it can't happen to the best of them. So, hopefully he ain't do nothing that was some wild violation. Hopefully he could hold on to his family, bounce back. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with this purge stuff? Real life purge that's going around that everybody's talking about. The real life purge. What it really is a new law that either is or may be passing, or a new bill or new act or something like that, for Illinois for 2023. I think it's called the Safe T Act, not safety, but safe and then T, separate act. I did minimal homework on it. I admit. What I learned about it is that it's supposedly a new law that basically allows people to be released without bail, even for crimes such as murder. Y'all in the comments, keep me honest. I did minimal homework on it. And I think that the terms of it just has to be that A, as long as you're not a flight risk, or B, if you're not still a threat to society or to people. So an example of that, even if you got charged with murder or booked with murder, is like, let's say you wild out and you murdered your wife or you murdered your husband. You know what I'm saying? So you can get released without bail. And the assumption is you're not a threat to anybody else because you had a specific target on your wife or your husband because maybe you caught them cheating or you walked in or whatever, right? A situation like that. I'm not saying I would ever agree with that. That doesn't make 1000% sense to me. But take a step back for a second. I'm pretty sure most of y'all know what the Purge is. For those that haven't seen those movies, what the Purge is supposedly a concept where the country does a self-cleanse of itself by allowing all felonies, all laws to basically just be put down and ignored for one day or for one evening or for like a 12-hour period or something like that. Even crimes punishable like murder, you know what I mean, is basically ignored. And it's supposed to be a self-cleanse for like this short period, this like a night or something like that. So in the movies, you got people that, they're trying to kill their neighbors or just kill people and whatnot. And it's just wild. It's just wild. It's a wild concept. But I don't see why this new act would be, put up against the Purge as far as a parallel. It's two totally different things, unless the thought of calling it the Purge is like, all right, you're letting some of these possible guilty people that are murderers on the street for a time period while they're awaiting trial or something like that. So in essence, you're putting people that are very, very dangerous out there instead of holding them for bail. But let's take a step back again. When you talk about even that position of you're not dangerous anymore because your crime was focused to somebody, I just think that that's common sense to say that makes no sense. That's common sense, right? Let's take American law. We live here in America, for example. Most people that's watching this, I know my demographics and my stats at this channel. It's mostly America, okay, that watches the RBE channel. Those are our laws. Those are our norms. That's what we follow. That's what we're born into. That's what we come up off under. That's how we live our lives. We know that murder is punishable by law, okay, within America, period. We're kind of trained and brought up to be taught that murder is wrong. God forbid you're being taught that murder is not wrong. All right. Murder is wrong. So if you come up under the teachings, under the environment, under the law, under the practice, under the beliefs that murder is wrong, then you might just also believe that it takes an extreme person or a very extreme circumstance to even want to commit murder. So let's remove the extreme circumstance, right? I don't want to try to speak on the person that says, this person did something to my son or my daughter, like on some A Time to Kill, Samuel L. Jackson shit. I want to take that piece of it out, right? Let me just talk about a person that has extreme measures, that just believes that murder is a way of solving a problem. Murder is a way of ending a conflict. Murder is a way of ending an argument. Murder is a means to justify the fact that you and I don't get along, or we bumped into each other, or you owe me $100, right? Let's talk about that side. Somebody that can commit murder over those type of circumstances, even if it was an isolated incident, supposedly to, like, let's say your wife or your husband, you still have to have that capacity within you, which already makes you dangerous, meaning that you could have that capacity to do it again. So maybe that's why people would associate this type of new law that might be getting passed in Illinois, like with the purge. Maybe that's why. But I can understand that. I could understand why people would say, nah, we don't agree with that. Don't put that here where I live. You know what I'm saying? Because just because you think it's an isolated incident, you still have to realize like the person has that capacity. That's how that person decided to solve a conflict or a problem. It doesn't mean that he won't feel like he can perform that within another isolated incident or scenario with a different person. Okay, there's my brother this time, so it's isolated. No, that's how you're handling fucking problems. You know what I'm saying? With murder. So, without doing an extreme amount of homework on it, just hearing, that foundation of it, it is a little scary to hear. It doesn't sound like it's a good thing at all. I don't know the logic behind it. If they think that it's helping people that, can't afford bail or something like that, that might be sitting down innocent or not outside, still going about life until their trial comes around because they can't afford to make bail, or there's nobody around them that can help them make bail or whatever. I understand that logic. There's a lot of people in that fucked up and unfortunate situation, but I don't know if that automatically means that you just allow all those type of charges to just be set free without bond or without bail, or damn near automatically, for what I read. Just like you come in, you get processed, boom, 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 boom. As long as you meet this criteria of not being a flight risk or us deeming it an isolated incident, you're out. We'll see you at trial. That sounds a little bit too much. And speaking of Illinois, I got around to finally watching that documentary on the Trap Law channel. And once again, big shout out to Trap Law, man. I love his content, and I have so much respect for the amount of work that he puts into his content. His production and his editing is like top notch. The amount of homework that he does, like this new documentary that I just watched based on Terrortown, you know what I'm saying, with, the Cutthroat Gang and the No Limit Gang and all that type of shit. We knew of some of these people that were associated with these cliques, but the amount of homework, you would think that he's working with people within both of these fucking sets and getting all the real information, because for me to put a documentary like that together, I'd have to be spending at least 6 months to get all that research together. Maybe that's what he's doing. But his channel, man, he's got some crazy documentaries. So this one that I just watched, it's like 3 hours long. I watched it like in like 4 different sit downs. And I know about some of these people. Most notable, most obvious, most of us know who G Herbo is. I definitely knew who Lil Bibby was even before he stopped rapping. I was up on a lot of his music. I knew about KTS Vaughn. I heard about him before. I don't know if I heard about him through like the War in Chirac series from Academics or something like that, but I definitely know about him. But I didn't know about this guy, Cairo. From No Limit, I didn't know about some of these guys like Mad Max and Shooter Shells. Some of these guys proclaim to have like 20 to 50 bodies and all this type of shit. Yo, this documentary is crazy. And the way our inner cities and some of these areas are abandoned, it's like on one side, I'm shocked that that much can happen. You know, that type of war between these neighborhoods and these gangs in modern times. On the other side, I'm just like, nah, that's the world we live in. You know, you got some of these impoverished areas where the police presence is low, or some of it is systemic. Like, nah, go ahead and wipe yourselves out, and people just don't care. You know what I mean? And it's wild, man. And our youth are just misled, so misled. Like you see in some of these videos in this documentary of these kids playing with murder, playing these murderous games and running around on live and running from gunshots, laughing and shit. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. Like I definitely would suggest everybody try to watch this documentary. People that are into that type of stuff the way that I am. And once again, it's educational. It's very educational. This is our youth. These are some of our ways. This is the system. This is society. This is America. This is crime. This is misfortune. These are damaged households. These are misled young people. This is a very murder provoking black culture. You know, you got wars like that. Like I watched the one, you know, between was it KTA and ATK, you know, those groups that from Florida with Youngin Ace and, you know, Fulio. It's just wild, man. You know, you got a lot of things that's happening for reputation, things that's happening for music and views and clout and territory. And it's wild, man. It looks like damn near these guys is clashing, and then, you know, a punch gets thrown at McDonald's and then turns into like 100 people dying. It's wild. It's wild. You know, I'm not gonna try to break down that documentary, but I guess I dropped that here, man. Go ahead and head over to the Trap Lord channel and check out that new documentary based on the No Limit and Terrortown and, you know, KTS and that type of shit. Is damn, all we could do is just pray for better. And you know what? Talking about that No Limit documentary, that could kind of make me turn to Boosie for a second. I mean, shout out to Lil Boosie. Let me throw a disclaimer out there with Lil Boosie, because we see his video going around of his call for, you know, the boycott or to remove the Jeffrey Dahmer series from Netflix. I think he was saying how disgusting it was and how affected the families were, etc. And yeah, that could be a reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real for a second. Those families of those victims could definitely be hurt by a series like this coming out. But my disclaimer for Lil Boosie is just like, you know, there's just certain people you're not going to turn to for certain messages. You know, I'm always entertained by Lil Boosie. I watch a lot of his interviews. I listen to a lot of his music. I fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? But remember when Dave Chappelle was joking about Ja Rule? He's like, you know, they was doing specials on TV about 9/11, and they was calling up Ja Rule to be a guest speaker. And he's like, why the fuck we want to talk to Ja Rule right now? Like, somebody get, you know what I'm saying, the Secretary of Defense or the president or somebody like that up here to talk to me. I don't want to hear from no fucking Ja Rule about 9/11. Can't no Ja Rule talk to me about nothing right now. It's Ja Rule. He's a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? And I feel the same thing about Lil Boosie to a degree. You know what I'm saying? Lil Boosie is very entertaining guy. He's a smart guy. I respect him. But come on, like Lil Boosie being a guy that championed us boycotting a Netflix series like Dahmer. Here's the reality of that. And I already said that I agree that could be very hurtful to the families. But Boosie, what are you involved in? You know how many people could have been hurt or inspired to commit crime or to hurt somebody or their family because of your music, you hear what type of lyrics that you write? Do you understand how damaging or how misleading your music can be towards our black youth? It's like, come on, Boosie, like we got to call a spade here. I don't see any of our high profile rappers, addressing all the families that might be hurt from all the gangster rappers that's talking about I'm smoking on this pack or smoking on this person. The average King Von fan is going to probably assume that he's got X amount of bodies under his belt, right? Nobody was screaming at him for all the, smoking on Tuka and all that. Like, these are families that could still be hurting on both sides of those wars. You know what I'm saying? So we can't say there's families that are being hurt by the Dahmer series. Meanwhile, we're putting out music where we're hurting each other daily. It's like how they want to say sometimes, the message is right, but the messenger is wrong. They kind of try to get at Gucci Man for that, because he did a song about look, y'all, we need to stop dissing the dead and all that. Yo, I know I did that with Pookie Loke and all that type of stuff, but we need to stop doing that. It's still a good step in the right direction. So you want to salute Gucci Man for doing something like that. But it's like our culture as a whole supports, revels in, marvels in murder. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a hypocrite. Like, that's damn near the only music I play. You know what I'm saying? I don't live it. I don't preach it. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I listen to. But I'm going to be real. It's going to be hypocritical for us to turn around and say, yeah, Dahmer is hurting families, when we out here supporting murder directly and indirectly. That's how we do within our culture, the hip hop culture. We support murder. We promote it. We turn blind eyes to it when we feel that, it's getting a certain type of reaction. We wish it to come home. All of that, right? So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to start attacking, these other homes before we clean up our own. Just can't do that. You know what I mean? And there's countless series and movies and albums and songs that come out that hurt families. You know what I'm saying? When the Iceman shit came out, there's people that were his victims. When these mafia shows and movies come out, there's people that are victims. When all these gang shows and related movies come out, there's people that are victims and families that were hurt and torn by these losses. When people buy, some of these albums, you know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody wrote out to your music before, Boosie. You know what I mean? Like maybe somebody, fucked over a woman, a good wholesome woman, from listening to your lyrics, or a nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Like we not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. I'm very, very entertained, and I fuck with a lot of Boosie shit, but for us to try to act like we want to cause an uproar because of this Netflix series out, meanwhile, our music and our culture perpetuates murder, misbehavior, and crime on a daily basis. Come on, man, we gotta stop. Let's take it to battle rap. Blood, Sweat, and Tears 7 is on the way. It will be at the Oxygen Bar in Atlanta, October 29th. Go to rarebreedent.com right now and get your advance tickets. Keep an eye out on the website as well. There may be a VOD that we make available for you guys as well, for the people that can't make it in live attendance and don't want to wait for the YouTube releases. There will probably be a VOD for y'all. Big salute and shout out to Winged and Lawrence for the card that y'all put together. I think you're going to produce some classics on October 29th. I like the matchups that y'all got there. You got a good mix of some of the bricks on there. Some goats are on there. Some obviously vets. You know what I'm saying? You got the ladies on there. You got a lot of shit going on this card. So once again, big salute and shout out to Lawrence and Wing for putting together this card. And y'all probably going to see the trailers and the announcements start to roll out this week on the channel. So make sure that y'all are subscribed. Keep your eyes on the RBE channel. All these announcements are going to start to drop. But yeah, go get your advanced tickets right now at rarebreedent.com. October 29th is going down. And I can't even wait that much longer, even though we're about to start rolling out October 29th Blood, Sweat, and Tears card, Blood, Sweat, and Tears 7. I can't even wait that long before I start making announcements for the card that's coming right after, because it's right there in November. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Time-wise, it's like we might have to start co-promoting both cards before we even get to Blood, Sweat, and Tears 7 on October 29th. So shout out to everybody that's involved, all the battlers that are already locked in for these 2 upcoming cards. Keep an eye on the channel, man. Like I said, announcements, flyers. Follow me on Instagram. Follow Rare Breed on Instagram. Winged, Lauren, Shot to follow everybody on Instagram and Twitter. You know, there's going to be a lot of announcements that continue to roll out. We're going to keep dropping our battles too. My podcast is going to be rolling out. So I got a lot of stuff going on this channel for y'all. Make sure that y'all subscribe. But Blood, Sweat, and Tears 7, we on the way. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the Bags and Bodies reality TV show. Yo, holla, man. We told you already, you got some amazing shit going on, but I'm just going to keep congratulating you, man. Every little milestone that you hit in this TV show process, I'm going to always continue to congratulate you, man. I'm seeing some beautiful stuff. It's dope, man. It's just dope energy because I went to the day 1 event that was this past Thursday. And, you know, everybody that was on the card was battling for a spot to get into the house. It was like the last spots that Holla was basically giving out. And yo, there's 2 battles that I saw that I definitely want to speak on real quick. The first one, Coach Coleon versus Jers. Big salute and shout out to these 2 guys, man. Jers, you got a lot of fucking elements to continue to build on. This guy, man, he got the performance. He's got a style that's just rapid fire. Boom, 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 boom. Does a lot of scheming. He has some real in-depth schemes. He had like one about damn near going through like every NFL team. That was just crazy. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, it's like a 2-minute long scheme. I might be exaggerating, but he's a rapid fire guy, man. And when he hits his haymakers, they hit. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely got Jers on the radar now. I did see the initial trailer for the event. Shout out to Ruin Your Day when they put that out, and I seen him perform, and I was like, yo, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? So I think he's going to have a promising battle rap career. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. But Coach Coleon, some of y'all that are in tune with RBE are becoming very familiar with Coach Coleon. If you aren't, make sure you pull up a lot of his recent battles. Coach Coleon versus Luck Dollars. Damn near a classic battle. You know what I'm saying? It's a ridiculous back and forth. Go pull that up. Coach Coleon versus Jay Jeans, dope battle, extremely crazy back and forth. Coach Coleon is really known for just back to back every fucking bar type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna get in there, he's gonna drop like 10 haymakers around. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how Coach Coleon comes off, and he's developing a reputation for being out the gate, like haymakers out the gate. Like this man had like a bar of the night contender. I ain't gonna spoil it. But he had a bar of the night contender that just shook the whole place up. And shout out to Coach. He won the judging, you know what I'm saying, to grab a spot to be in the mansion for the recording of the entire Bags and Bodies reality TV series. He won the judging 4-1. So man, dope material, dope content. You know, it was an amazing back and forth. But Coach, man, you went crazy, man. So you know, you take what you did right there and then you go even up another notch, you know, you might be in contention for this bread. You know what I'm saying? There's $100,000 on the line for the Bags and Bodies TV show. Somebody gonna go home with that shit. The second battle I want to talk about is KD versus I think his name was Jay That Guy. Jay That Guy is his name. I never heard of Jay That Guy before. It's my first time seeing him. KD, I think everybody's familiar with. I think we had KD on RBE twice. And KD had another amazing battle this year too. People say that he has a battle of the year contender this year. So everybody knows who KD is. You know what I'm saying? KD goes first in this battle. His first round was like what O-Red be doing in certain battles, like where he tries to bury you in the first round. That's like what KD did in the first round. He had like an extreme haymaker that had motherfuckers jumping off of the stage in the first round. We was like, yo, the whole battle is over from KD's first round. It's over. I don't want to hear what you know Jay got to say. Like it's over. Like KD did way too much in the first round. It's over. So it's on Jay now. and he starts coming out. It's like a little slow, and I'm being 1,000 with y'all. I was just like, this battle is done. This nigga's about to get dragged. This nigga Jay, his style, he walked shit down in the first round. He walked KD down. I don't know how long the round was. Maybe it was like 5 or 6 minute round or certain shit, some shit like that. But after watching a classic round from KD where niggas in the building was basically saying, yo, this battle is over from KD's first round, we then was turning around after Jay went and said, this first round is debatable. How is that possible? How the fuck is that possible? And then the same shit happened with these two guys in the second and the third round. Certified classic battle. Holla, the people got to see this footage ASAP. This is a classic battle. Holla had no choice but to give them both a spot in the mansion. He had no choice. I don't know how the judges was about to pick that shit. They had 5 judges. I don't know how the fuck they was going to pick a winner of this shit. But I'm telling y'all right now, whether it's going to premiere within the Bags and Bodies TV show, whether it's going to drop on YouTube, just when KD versus Jay, that guy drops, click play. Remember, I told you that. Could also talk real quick about Summer Madness 12. I did see most of it. I didn't see the 1SK battles. I might have missed 1 or 2 of the opening battles I heard. But I did come in like halfway through Danny Mize versus Fonz. Seemed like it was a good battle. Shout out to Danny. Shout out to Fonz. Danny, man, you're doing a lot of rebuttaling these days, man. Or maybe I shouldn't even say these days. You've been rebuttaling for a second, but Danny's rebuttals are getting up there, huh? You want to be in that mix of some of the best rebuttalers? You want people to fear your rebuttals? Is that what's going on, Danny? Shout out to those 2 guys, man. Seemed like a good battle. I heard that Fonz had a moment where he was getting booed or something by the crowd, and it was a tough crowd or something. But the part that I came in on, if he got booed prior, he fought back pretty well because I saw him having a good round. So that was a good one. I caught most of Chess versus Shotgun Suge. I was driving at the time, so I was just playing it and listening to it. I couldn't really watch the performance. Looks like Chess, that first round issue, whether it's the throwing up or whatever, he had that again. I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? Like only Chess could answer that. Whether it's a health thing that he needs to take more serious, whether it's a stage fright thing, he's getting it out early. I only Chess could answer. I don't know. But it seems to happen a lot where obviously people should take that into consideration. You know what I'm saying? And Suge sounded like he was just going off. I was listening to him like he was just snapping. You know what I mean? So it looked like a clear win for Suge. But that seemed to be a pretty solid battle. By the time Surf and JC came on, I was able to sit down and watch it. But they say styles make fights. The thing about that matchup though is just like JC is he's such a better performer than what he did with Surf. I don't know, because sometimes people can overanalyze a matchup and they could change their approach. That happened to Ill Will to a degree versus 40 Cal. And I'm not taking nothing away from 40 Cal. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't the regular Ill Will. It's almost like, all right, they're bringing back, a diplomat, 40 Cal into battle rap for the first time. This is kind of big news. And he may have overthought his approach. That's kind of what it felt like, just me analyzing the battle. And I don't know, maybe JC did that. He seemed very stationary, seemed to just stay on Surf's shoulder the whole time, like he wanted to talk to him for most of the battle. Maybe it's because it was the route of, instead of trying to go, just all these haymakers and general punchlines, which JC is one of the best at, and instead be so direct and speak so much about Surf that, it comes across as if I'm talking to him, which is why I'm going to sit right here on his shoulder. I don't know if that was the approach. That's kind of what I took it off of. I only saw it once, and it just didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work out. Surf first round, dope. Second round, I think was pretty good or solid, and I thought the third round, from what I remember, was a little short. Might have been a little short, but his first round, you know, that performance, the energy, the aggression, and everything like that. You know, those are some of the tangibles that you got to bring to a stage if you're going to captivate a big crowd, and sometimes even a small crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like, or even if you don't bring those things to the stage, you better be of the understanding that your opponent does those things, and you got to figure out how to neutralize those things. So this was far from one of the best JCs. It's not even like a top 10 or shit. JC's got so many battles. I wouldn't even say that this is a top 20 JC. You know what I'm saying? And when you got a battle that big for JC, and it might not even be one of his top 20 performances, then I have no choice but to assume that maybe he went about it with a wrong approach, a different approach. You know, that's just a guess. But shout out to those two guys. I did see Calico versus Easy to Block as well. Felt like a pretty even match for the most part. If I watched it a second time, I could definitely pick a winner, but I'm not gonna see it a second time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I caught it as it was happening live. They both had dope shit, and that's why I think it was a dope matchup. Their styles, the way they be talking they shit. Some people could even say that maybe Easy is the new Calico as far as content. You know what I mean? They both kind of have a kind of a, I don't want to say a rapid style, but they flow they shit real mean, both of them. You know what I'm saying? To the point where Cal could almost sound like he's on a beat sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, Cal's got one of them flows that it's just so unique. And Easy, he'll go down the line with his shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know if I got a winner for that battle. But overall, from the battles that I did see, seemed like a decent card, decent turnout, decent event. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that took the stage and put on, because it's hard work for the battlers, man. I always respect what y'all get on that stage and do. And said that, I'm looking at this clock. It looks like I'm over an hour and 20 minutes already. So I'm going to get up out of here. But I definitely want to get a new episode in, being that I'm back in my main blog spot. This is my main setup right here. I didn't even switch to my second camera. I got to do that more for you guys too during my episodes. But I'm going to drop this. If you're watching this, the full episode is obviously out, and I'll be releasing the individual episodes or pieces of this full length joint after this. But yo, it's your boy. I'm out of here. Y'all make sure y'all go up to that rarebreedent.com website. Once again, get your pre-sale tickets for Blood, Sweat, and Tears 7 going down October 29th. Keep your eyes on the channel. Trailers are going to start dropping this week. Flyers, announcements. And we might even have to double up and start dropping the November card ASAP as well. We got y'all. Stay in tune. I'll be back in a few, man. All right. Episode 4. Appreciate y'all. We out of here.